The year 2020 has seen its fair share of major historic events in a little over 3 months, including the acquittal of President Donald Trump in an impeachment trial, the death of NBA legend Kobe Bryant, and the rapid spread of the coronavirus pandemic. April 9 marked 100 days into the new decade. Life as we know it has come to a grinding halt since the coronavirus pandemic has left countries struggling to respond to the rapidly spreading virus. The coronavirus, which causes a respiratory disease known as COVID-19, has prompted schools to shut down, employees to work remotely, and people to remain inside their homes in an attempt to contain the spread of the disease. For some, days begin to blend together as people begin to adjust to a new way of life under quarantine. While the coronavirus becomes the new norm as countries continue to grapple with the outbreak, some events in 2020 seem like a long-lost memory amid a rapidly changing news cycle. January 2, a third state of emergency was called in New South Wales, Australia, as bushfires threatened the south coast of the country. NSW Premier Gladys Berejiklian called for a third state of emergency due to Australian bushfires on January 2 after months of continuously blazing. The deadly wildfires had prompted cities to evacuate and burn tens of millions of acres. At least 1 billion animals were believed to have died in the fires as more than 100 species were in need of emergency intervention in order to survive. January 7, the World Health Organization is notified of the novel coronavirus, then known as 2019 nCoV, in China. The Chinese branch of the World Health Organization was officially notified of the novel coronavirus, then referred to as 2019 nCoV, on January 7, despite cases being reported as early as November 2019. The novel coronavirus, which causes a respiratory disease now known as COVID-19, is believed to have started in a wet market in the city of Wuhan, located in the Hubei province of China. January 8, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announce they are stepping down from their duties as senior royals in Buckingham Palace. After months of speculation, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle put the rumors to rest and officially announced they were stepping down from their duties as senior royals. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex said they planned on being financially independent and split their time between North America and the United Kingdom. This geographic balance will enable us to raise our son with an appreciation for the royal tradition into which he was born, while also providing our family with the space to focus on the next chapter, the couple posted on their Instagram. January 8, a Ukrainian flight crashes in Tehran, Iran, killing all 176 passengers on board. Shortly after Iran launched an attack on U.S. troops stationed at Iraqi military bases, Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752 crashed in Tehran, Iran, on January 8, killing all 176 people on board. Iran later claimed responsibility for the incident, saying in a statement that the plane was shot down after it was mistaken for a threat. In such a condition, because of human error and in an unintentional way, the flight was hit, the Iranian statement said. January 11, China records its first coronavirus death. China reported its first death from the novel coronavirus on January 11, days after the World Health Organization learned of the virus outbreak. January 16, the impeachment trial for President Donald Trump begins. After U.S. President Donald Trump was impeached on 2 articles of impeachment, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, his impeachment trial in the Senate began on January 16. Prompted by a whistleblower complaint that centered on the president's call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, where Trump asked Zelensky for a favor, and discussed his political rival Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden. The first coronavirus case was reported in Washington state on January 20, a man in his 30s. The patient landed in Seattle after visiting China, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said. At the time, the coronavirus had killed 17 people and infected more than 470 people in China, spreading to other countries like South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and Thailand. February 11, the WHO names the coronavirus disease COVID-19. March 10, Italy becomes the first country to implement a nationwide lockdown. In an unprecedented move in the coronavirus outbreak, Italy's Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte announced a nationwide lockdown in the country after it had become the second worst-hit country by the virus besides China. The country shut down its borders and shuttered all stores except grocery stores and pharmacies in a bid to stem the spread of the disease. The virus, which can be more fatal in older people or those with underlying conditions, posed a high risk to Italy, as it has one of the oldest populations in the world. Several other countries began to follow suit, including El Salvador, New Zealand, Colombia, Poland, and Spain. March 11, the WHO declares the coronavirus a pandemic. The WHO officially declared the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic on March 11 after spreading to more than 100 countries around the world. WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction, WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus told reporters. At the time, the coronavirus had infected more than 121,000 people and killed over 4,300 people. April 2, global coronavirus cases surpass 1 million. A little over 3 months since the first coronavirus was reported in China, the pandemic passed a grim milestone, infecting more than 1 million people worldwide on April 2. At the time, more than 51,000 people had died worldwide, and more than 208,000 had recovered, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. April 9, the state of New York alone has the highest number of coronavirus cases than any country in the world. On April 9, the 100th day of 2020, New York State alone had more coronavirus cases than any country in the world, with over 160,000 people infected. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said on Thursday more than 7,000 people have been killed by the virus, which causes a respiratory illness known as COVID-19. 9/11 was supposed to be the darkest day in New York for a generation, Cuomo said. And then, in many ways, we lose so many more New Yorkers to this silent killer.